You can see on the left the big economies. Europe's really slowing now. They are dead set on getting rid of this inflation. The ECB raised rates to just under the Australian rate, hence why the euro is so strong compared to the Aussie dollar. If you'd said 10 years ago that the European interest rate could be higher than the Australian interest rate, I would have told you never.
Yeah.
But the Europeans know what inflation does. I mean, this inflation is not just about real wages, living standards. This is about the functioning of our economy. And I would say inflation is the biggest threat to free and open societies that we have seen in the modern democratic world of the last couple hundred years. The Europeans know that. They don't need thousands of years of dream time to tell them. They know from just 3 generations what inflation does to a society, and it doesn't end well. So they're doing it. They're more than happy to have a recession in the short term to get rid of this inflation. Totally the opposite approach to Australia. China, they're slowing by more than this PMI tells you. They've got a lot of troubles, which you're seeing in the papers now. They're suffering essentially from what happens to a command economy once it gets to a certain level of sophistication. The next phase after that is developing domestic markets, entrepreneurship, private allocation of capital, none of which is feasible under a severely tight communist regime, what we're seeing in China. So they're in trouble. The question is, do they have any growth in the foreseeable future? And do they have a financial crisis? Their biggest problem that's new, that doesn't get talked about enough, is that they benefited massively from the demand for stuff that came out of the pandemic, the demand for goods, manufactured goods.
Right.
And that's all now peeling right off. So that's what's really hurting them.
Everyone was sitting at home ordering stuff on Amazon.
Whether it was a jigsaw puzzle or a whippersnipper, they gave it to the world. I mean, other manufacturers like Japan and Taiwan and Korea and Germany, they all benefited, but nothing like China, and they're not feeling it as badly as China is now.
Right.
So they've got that added to their long-term property problem, financial issues, and local government problems. They got some real issues. Anyway, so the global economy, that comment on China aside, is looking like going into a mild downturn. This talk that started with our treasurer in October last year about global recessions that you've heard in financial markets from week in, week out for 9 months just doesn't seem to be materializing. It could well. The economies are now slowing again, but we're not seeing a devastating collapse in economic activity.